Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock. I know it's late, guys. I've had a long day. It's Sunday. It's like 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. So I just was able to catch up on Pastor R.C. Blake's video tonight. And many of you who follow me always chit chat with me, via email or whatever, and let me know that you follow him as well. So you've probably seen his video for tonight, and if you haven't, I'll be sure that I tag it in my description. But it's so, listen, those Blake's brothers are just jewels. Like I constantly pray and ask God to protect and cover them, because Satan's not happy with anybody who's trying to really change lives and help people. He's crazy, like Satan's crazy like that. So if you haven't seen that video, go on his page, or I will, hopefully I remember to put it in my description. So guys, he was talking about, just escaping toxic relationships. And of course, that conditional thinking and just becoming the queen that you are. And here's the thing, guys. It's important for individuals to understand, men and women, it's just not women, but to understand that you only know what you know. Meaning, if you grew up in a household that was full of just toxins and abuse, and it's not always physical, verbal, mental, of course physical, but toxic is toxic. So first you have to understand that, listen, I have to forgive myself because I didn't know any better. Like, you may have a friend who grew up in like that perfect picture household, two-parent household. And let's be clear, not all the time a two-parent household is a healthy household, because you can have both parents in the household, but that doesn't mean that you have experienced healthy love. But let's just say you have a friend who really experienced healthy love. Like they came from that picture perfect life. If you are that individual, consider yourself blessed. Not lucky, but blessed. Because not only do you have a head start, like you probably have a peace of mind, But if you're someone, you came from just whatever, some crazy upbringing. And it's important to understand that you are not responsible for what you were taught. But God is so good, He will start to put people into your lives and show you an example of how things should be. So you may have been a child who came from a crazy background, but your next door neighbor might have been your best friend, and they had a perfect upbringing. So when you would go over there to play with them, you may have been exposed to different things. Or even maybe later on in life, you might have someone you met on your job and they have a healthy marriage. So God is so good that He will expose you to what healthy love looks like. Does that just mean all of a sudden tomorrow you know how to emulate or to receive healthy love? No. But you do know now that what you were taught was not the correct way. And sometimes you can't even blame your parents, because it's generational curses, it's generational norms, it's passed down through the lines. But does it have to be that way forever? No. It can stop with you. Will it take a lot of work? Heck yeah, a lot of work. Probably a lifetime if you're honest. But at the same time, you're now breaking that cycle for your children, for your grandchildren, for the individuals to come behind you. So you start putting that work in now, because you don't want your children, your grandchildren, and great-grands going through the same nonsense of having to, kiss 1,000 frogs, or to be in relationships where your wife doesn't appreciate you, but you're just sticking it out because you love her. And no, everyone taught you how to be a playboy, but no one ever taught you how that hurt, and that how to deal with that hurt and that pain when she leaves you, or when you marry the wrong person and she hurts you. So now, you're now dealing with toxic love. And so now you're faced with, okay, I will never ever fall in love again, because when I tried it one time, I was hurt, and that plants the seed again of toxic love. Next thing, once you've realized that, okay, you're not at fault because you only know what you know. Now, because you've been exposed to it and you know that there is another side, again, it is time for you to put the work in. Putting that work means unlearning what you were taught. Probably the most difficult thing you will do. It will probably take you a great deal of time to do it. So it is important to make sure that your mind, your body, and your soul is invested, because that is what will get you through. Well, first and foremost, God will hold your hand and get you through, because he sees that you want different. God is so good. Like God, like you can talk to God about anything. Like you can just be real one day and be like, okay, God, my parents are crazy. I've seen nothing but crazy. Can you please show me healthy love? Like he literally will bring that example in front of you. He will literally hold your hand and help you along the way. So again, you must be invested in knowing that you want better and that you deserve better. So now you start your process of unlearning what you were taught. Well, that's a good chance that you're going to have to start leaving some people behind. Of course, leaving some things behind. Most likely, God will have you enter an isolation season. During that isolation season, you will start to see things for what it really is. You're going to start looking at your family like all of y'all are crazy. Like all of y'all are crazy, honey. If y'all are content with just staying together because you have children, if you're content with just staying together because we have financial ties, if you're content with staying together because, we're just used to each other's drama, like, do what you do. But I got to go. I got to put this work in because I want to I deserve some peace. I deserve true, authentic happiness. And I know I cannot learn that if I'm around the same people who planted that stuff inside of me. So you're going to isolation season, and it's crucial to start doing your research. Go to therapy if you need to. If you cannot afford therapy, start watching YouTube videos on happy marriages and happy relationships and generational curses. Like, start investing into that. Okay. Now, I was going to say if you're a woman, but again, it's never, just all women. But if you came from that toxic upbringing and if you experienced those toxic relationships, there's a good chance, no matter how beautiful you are, your self-esteem is low. Because if you came from a toxic environment, there's a good chance that, your worth and your value was not instilled into you. So you're probably broken. Again, no matter how beautiful you are, you've probably had a few bad relationships where just your man or your woman was just as toxic as you. So now it's like, I don't even feel beautiful, or I don't even feel handsome or worthy to even try to move on. That's why that isolation season is important, because God will strip you. And when I say strip you, I mean everything. Everything. I know you're thinking like, Lord, I don't want that, but it will be worth it. You cannot get to another level, whatever that level may be that you're trying to climb, not in just relationships. You will not go to another level without some type of storm. God has to strip you for each notch. So in this sense, he will strip you to make you realize that some of the people can't stay. Instead, I will remove them, but I will send people who will be great examples to you and where you're trying to go, and show you how, healthy love works and how their happy marriages work. He will then start to strip you from your old self, your old thinking, because all you know was what you were taught. So it will be hard. It will feel raw because he's stripping you. That's what stripping is about. But don't fight that process. That's easier said than done. Trust me when I tell you, I get it. But he will slowly but surely start to download things into your spirit. He will then start to have you to realize that right now, I don't want you with anybody. I only want you with me, so I can start to show you and guide you to your purpose and your calling. Okay? I need you to understand you don't need a man or a woman. All you need is me. And if I choose to send a man or woman to you, then by all means, by that time, you will understand how to appreciate and accept healthy love, be able to accept it, explore it, as well as give it. So in that season of isolation, which many people have a hard time in that season, I don't, because I'm naturally a loner, but you will be alone in the physical, but God will be with you, guiding you the entire way. Your self-esteem will start to come up because, again, he's going to, introduce you to your purpose and your calling, because that's what I always say that's where your self-esteem and your confidence lives, in your purpose and your calling. So before you know it, what will happen is on this journey, right? And it is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. Think about it. You saw this stuff all of your life. You probably didn't leave home till you was 17, 18, 19, 20, some even later. So if that's all you've ever seen, even including when you were a child, that stuff is, even when you were 3, 4, 5 years old, you saw that stuff. You remember that stuff. You saw your dad beating your mother, or you saw all that craziness going on. So my point is, you can't unlearn something you've learned for 15, 20 plus years. So you can expect that you're going to learn healthy, happy love overnight. It was a process to learn it. It will be a process to unlearn it. It's about how bad do you want it. But ultimately, for myself, I stand firm on saying that you should love no one more than God. The reason why a lot of relationships, don't make it, well, there's 1,000 reasons why, but sometimes we indirectly make people our God. Meaning and you don't even realize you're doing it, but this person got you so full up. I mean, full up, that God literally becomes the back burner. So you made that person your God. You're so in love with this man or so in love with this woman that you're just gone. You will do anything for them. There's a good chance that's the soul tie as well. That's a whole nother level, honey. I have a video on soul ties, and that's a different story. But you're making that person your God, and God ain't pleased with that, honey. And if you're not careful, God will strip that person from you. Now, again, he will start to download things in you and let you know, hey, I need you to leave this relationship, leave this situationship, whatever. And if you don't choose to, he'll make them leave you. Or he will make the individual hurt you so bad that you have no choice but to leave. Because he's not going to have you idling anybody more than him. And again, sometimes it's indirectly. You don't even realize you're doing it. So once you develop this relationship with God and you fall in love with God, guess what? That is when you realize you don't need a soul. You don't need a soul. Because once you fall in love with God, you finally experience what it feels like to be whole. Most importantly, you experience an unconditional love. How many times we screw up? I know, listen. If I was to sit down and calculate how many times I messed up today, let it be patience, let it be whatever, I can't even count. But guess what? He still loves me. And when somebody keeps loving on you like that, it makes you want to do the right thing. But it feels so weird because it's like, oh my God, what? You want to love me, my little messy self, my little imperfect self? Why do you keep loving me? That's unconditional love. So once God have your attention to the point that you realize, I don't need a man, I don't need a woman. In fact, I have choices. Yes, that's a plug because your girl got choices. But my point is, because you don't need a man or a woman, you can then start testing the spirits. If God ends up sending somebody to you, if that is God's will for your life, if God wants you to be with someone, hear me. If God, not you in your toxic empathy and you just need a person because you're dealing with a father wound or an abandonment issue because you were adopted or the middle child. Okay. So you will realize then you need no one. You will be so fulfilled in your spirit, so whole in your spirit. And then again, because God have watched you, helped you, and paced you, to help you unlearn what you learned, to reteach you, if that's a word, to reteach you, then to fall in love with him so you can experience that no one comes before God and no one can ever love me like him, and I will never love anyone more than I love him. Now that he have you there, that's when he will send that person to you, if that is the will for your life. And guess what? Now when this person arrived, you now know how to give and receive healthy love. So all of the toxic nonsense you dealt with in the past, those dudes and females couldn't even get a conversation, like literally a conversation. Of course, you're going to keep it real, keep it thorough. Hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. But they can't even get a date because you done peep game from the jump. You've tested the spirit. They're not of God. Where before, certain people would shift and move you just on words or just on money or just on affluence or whatever your thing was in the past. Now, because you know what healthy love feels like, you ain't moving if that spirit ain't right. Don't care about your money, boo. Don't care about your whatever. If your spirit ain't right, you got to go. So you can get to the back of the line like the other thousands who were dismissed because their spirit ain't right. But here's the thing, guys. I truly want everyone to know, like, you are beautiful, you're handsome, you are worthy, you are deserving. And if you had toxic relationships and they really knocked your self-esteem down and you really truly feel like, you're not beautiful or you're not worthy. God made you this just the way you are. So no, you're not too big. No, you're not too small. No, you're not too light. You're not too dark. You're not too broke. You're not too rich. You're not too short. You're not too tall. You are perfection. And the individual who God made specifically to you will find you and accept you for exactly who you are. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.